Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mpoomy and this is Below. And yeah, today I never thought I'd do this, and this was never the plan with my YouTube channel, but today I'm doing a book review. Boom, 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 boom. So I don't read as often as I'd love to, but well, after reading this book I was like so mind blown. As you might have seen from the title, I am reviewing this book, How Did We Get Here by Mpoomy Ledwaba. So background story, I've been following Mpoomy Ledwaba for about 4 years now. I started watching her videos a lot during COVID, and then I just continued following her life, her journey, raising kids, marriage, whatever. So I've been a fan to say the least. I've been a fan of her content for quite a while, also because then there's elements of Christianity into, you know, the way she lives her life and some of her principles. So when she released the book, it was a buzz. I got it on the day it was released on Take A Lot, and I was like, oh, I can't wait to read the book. And to really summarize this, it's kind of like a written get to know me tag, you know. She really gets deep into her life, her upbringing, and how she got where she is now, right? So yeah, I have a notebook with me so that I don't forget what I need to say. I think first of all, this is a beautiful cover, gorgeous cover, very beautiful cover. I like it. It's simple, it's not too busy, and it's her face, her pretty face. It's really a beautiful cover, and the colors are just, yeah, the combos I made sure, right? And then secondly, as I was reading this book, I couldn't put it down. So I finished the book in 2 days. Yeah, 2 days. I couldn't put it down. I just continued reading, you know. So it's one of those books that keeps you going, you know. And then I want to get into her writing style. You know, the type of writing style that makes you feel like the person is talking to you. It's very casual, there's a bit of humor here and there, but it's also very vulnerable. You know, you read as though you're talking to a close friend. Like, she talks about deep things that has happened to her, you know, and the way she writes is very relatable. It's not too bombastic, there's no weird, you know, jargon or everything. It's just the same way you would talk. And because I've listened to her talk quite often, then I kept on reading the book in her voice, right? Yeah, anyway, she can be very humorous and witty even when she's discussing very serious issues. Like, she could be talking about something so deep, but then throw in, you know, a little bit of humor just to lighten the tension. So I love that about how she writes. It's really just, I mean, I've read reviews where people say they've cried and everything. I didn't cry when I read the book, but there were a lot of things that evoked emotion as I read the book, you know. So yeah, I love her writing style. Absolutely love her writing style. And then she got very vulnerable. Like, you know, a lot of people tend to hide certain parts of their stories, but she was very open about things that people don't usually be open about, like molestation as a child, her first sexual encounter, how her virginity was broken, how she had an angry woman for a mom. Like, I think generally for black people, these are chats that need to be had, but we don't talk enough about these things. And I love how vulnerable she became. She also mentions that she doesn't tell her story because she loves it, especially the painful parts of her story. It's not because she likes it, but because she just believes in empowering people, allowing people to heal. Because in the book, the essence of the book is, I give you permission to heal. So through her stories, you get to reflect on certain parts of her story and relate it to your life, look back and see if you can relate to some of the things she's talking about. Really, this book is like a 10 out of 10, 12 out of 10 probably. I really loved it. And I also think personally, because I haven't read in a while, it just, yeah, got me upbeat about reading. I'm already thinking what book to read next, because every month without fail I buy myself a book. But the reading part, welele. So she has what she calls reflections at the end of each chapter, and this is the part where she asks a few questions and asks you to answer them and write down in the book, you know, whatever comes to mind depending on the chapter. And I've decided that I'm going to choose 3 chapters. There's a 4th one that I would really wish I could do, but because it's too personal, too close to home, and extreme vulnerability, I'm not going to touch on that. And that is the chapter that is Angry Black Woman. So in the book she talks about certain experiences that she was able to iron out with her mom. You know, this and this happened when I was younger, what was going on in your life? And she encourages us to ask these kind of questions, because sometimes we grow up with parents that we are scared of as opposed to parents we respect. But I'm not gonna get into that, but I would love to if it wasn't so, well, I don't want my things on the pepe nene. So I chose 3 chapters that I'm gonna do my reflections on, and the first one is my first heartbreak. Right, okay, let me just get to that section and read the reflections part. So the reflection part goes something like this. Did you have a best friend growing up? Do you remember the deliciousness of laughing with your friend until your stomach hurt? Of having someone who had your back when you were feeling awkward or ugly or just out of place? Then maybe something happened between you, or maybe nothing happened. You just chose different subjects, or you moved to another school or town, but the friendship was never the same. Maybe you blamed yourself for the ending, maybe it was your fault. The only constant in life is change. We have to live in the moment. Enjoying and appreciating people and experiences while we can. It's painful when things end, and the way they end can leave a bitter taste in the mouth. But remember the saying, don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. Right? And so the questions are like, write down a few memories you have of your teenage friends. So I think most of us, our teenage friends are the friends we make in high school, because that's the span of your teenage years. Most of them are spent in high school, because you start high school at 13 to 17, 18. Yes. So my teenage friends, or my high school friends, we had, should I say squad? We had a squad. It was a huge group of friends, but as you may know, with huge groups of friends there are subgroups, you know, but I don't think there was beef or anything as such. It's just a huge group of girls, and what was common is that we were in the boarding house. We were the black girls in the school. I went to a high school that was colored dominated, so we were the black girls of the school, etc. And my memories are very great, you know. I have friends that are still my friends now, that we kind of grew in front of each other's eyes. Most of them are parents, some of them are married. So I have very fond memories of friendship in my teenage years. I'm very, very fond. I think I'm a very friendly person, so making friends, let me not talk about making friends, but keeping friendships for me is not necessarily a tough thing. So answering these questions, I have very fond memories of friendship in my teenage years. Very fond. Right, okay, the next question. Smile or cry as you remember them. Nothing makes me want to cry when I remember my friendships. I mean, not all of them are, well, I'm not friends with everyone I used to be friends with, not because we fought or had a fallout or anything, but because, like she says in the book, different towns, different schools, etc. So I have nothing to cry about. And then it says, say thank you to the friends in your heart, or say a prayer of thanksgiving for their friendship. I think really growing up, I had friends who were open to an extent. I think we could talk about anything and everything, and at the time there was not so much deep things that you'd feel like you don't want to talk about. So I think I had an easygoing friendship in my teenage years. Brilliant. Highly recommend myself as a friend. And then it says, release any bitterness or shame you may feel, or how the relationship ended. I have 2 specific friends that, should I say betray? Yeah, did something behind my back that hurt me. One of them came to confess and apologize, and I was shocked because what she told me, I couldn't believe that she did that to me, but I forgave her and we're still friends to this day. The other one did something behind my back, and to this day she doesn't know that I know. Yeah, if the shoe fits and you're watching this video, girl, I know. Anyway, that's my first reflection. Moving on to the next one. The next one is going to be the chapter called Birthday Cake. Let's go to page 19. Okay, so in this chapter she just talks about her childhood, how they celebrated birthdays. You know, they grew up in, I don't want to say extreme lack, but there was lack, you know, and I think in that you get to be grateful for the little things, right? Yeah, she just talks about her parents, her mom beating her up for something, her dad fetching her from school earlier because she had, I think, a chess game and she couldn't stay for the next leg of the tournament or something like that, and she was disappointed, only for her dad to get home to sleep, you know, when he had said, I'm fetching you early because I have a meeting, you know, those kind of things that happen. So the reflection section goes something like this. Not all of us are lucky enough to still have our parents around, but if they are, it can be very helpful to ask them what their upbringing was like, or if they're not around, to speak to people who knew them. Only then do we get a clearer picture of what made them the way they are. Right, now it says, think back to your childhood, to any time your mother or father or caregiver disappointed you in some way. Did you ever take time to process your disappointment? In all honesty, when it comes to my mom, there are little or none when it comes to disappointment. She showed up when she had to. She did what she could. Like my mom, Shem, girl, you done made the pots. My dad, on the other hand, may his soul rest in peace. I think one disappointment that I was kind of prepared for, but I was hoping for the best, was on my graduation day, my first graduation, yeah, my degree. So you know, when you get to graduation, you get to admit either 2 or 3 people. So at my university, SMU, we had to bring 2 people, and I think the reason I say I was prepared for this is that he pulled a number on my brother, and from that I took a lesson. I'm like, this one. So I decided to just take was it 3 people? 4 people. I think we got 3 entries, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. So I took my mom, my grandmother, my brother, and my dad. I had 3 entries, but I invited 4 people just in case this man doesn't make it, because then he had those patterns. Lo and behold, as I'm in my regalia walking to the hall, I get an SMS. I can't make it, my baby. All the best in you. My heart sank. I was just like, you did this to my brother, and I kind of thought you might do it to me, but I didn't see it coming. So that was one of the biggest disappointments, I would say, for my dad. My dad used to trick us a lot. Like, he's the type to tell you he'll do something and won't do it, and then he will gift you with something that will make you forget the hurt and disappointment. He was that kind. But yeah, that is just to answer this question. And then it says, did you ever take time to process your disappointment? Unfortunately, I did it by myself and never confronted him about it. But by myself, I just sat down, I forgave him for an apology that I didn't receive. I mean, I did get an SMS to say, sorry, I won't make it, but for me, I just needed him to sit me down and say something. I don't know, but I forgave him, and all was well. All was very well. So I did take time to process, but I was really hurt. Next one, it says, if they are around and you feel comfortable doing so, Ask them if they remember the incident and why they behaved the way they did. Well, unfortunately, he's not around, so I can't ask him. I also think that generally I struggle with confrontation, so this would be one hard thing to do, but the person he was would make it easy. There are certain people that are easy to confront, and there are others that you just, yeah, forgive and forget, you know. And then the last part, it says, once we understand something, we can make peace with it. It's much easier to let it go. I never really got the understanding, but I did get to a place of finding peace with what happened. So I am totally redeemed with regards to that. Yeah, that is my second review. My third and last review is about, what does it say? The Good Wife is the name of the chapter. The Good Wife. All right, page 117. Okay, let me read the reflection part. It says, these days we have all kinds of expectations of ourselves. Have you got caught in the trap of thinking that a relationship needs to operate in a certain way, that you each need to assume a specific role for it to be good and healthy? It's well known that unhappiness is caused by the gap between the way we want things to be and the way things are. Fine, let's reflect. Point number one, what did you think it meant to be a good wife or partner when you were growing up? Okay, disclaimer, I'm not a wife yet or fully, whatever. I'm a fiance, right? But what do you think? I think when you grow up in a black household and you see the woman is always the one that takes care of the home in terms of cleaning, cooking, looking after kids, etc., then you think that's what it means to be a good wife. But I think with our generation, we've been exposed to a lot, you know, to help us think differently. So growing up, I thought being a good wife was just someone who stood by their partner, you know. Obviously, being a Christian hand, it also meant submitting, which is something that took me a long time to actually unpack and understand. So that's what I thought it would be to be a good wife. The second one says, how has the reality of being in a marriage or stable relationship changed your ideas about this? I think the first thing is that, like she says in her book, you need to find things that work for you, not things that society or social media dictates. If you get that part right, couple goals, relationship goals. Because I really, okay, the one example I'll make, I don't like cooking. I can, trust me, but I don't enjoy it. You know, some days I really get up and cook for the sake of, you know, I feel like a certain meal and I'm hyped about it and I'm happy when I do it. But other days when my mom is like, dinner's on you, and I just drag my feet about it, that's just me. I don't enjoy it, and that's okay. My partner, okay, he hates it when I say partner. My fiance, husband to be, he loves cooking. He loves the kitchen. He tries out new recipes. He bakes. He makes cheesecake. And I love that for myself. I always say the people who love me feed me. Listen, the people who love me feed me. But in terms of gender roles, I am happy that we can reach a common ground. You're good at this, I'm good at that. Let's reach a common ground. Sometimes I won't be able to do it, then you do it, etc. So I think to answer this, the reality is that once you do what works for you, you will be fine. Because if it's a model that you created with your partner, you are the same people who can modify it, who can change it, who can do anything. It's your model and it works for you. If something makes you unhappy, you can readjust, you know. So that is how reality's been. It hasn't really changed my idea, but it's just opened up my mind of how things can be so much easier when certain expectations are dropped of the ideal wife or ideal husband for that. Right, the next one says, how do you feel about the reality? Do you feel like you are both fulfilling your life's purpose, or do you feel as though just one person in the relationship has the space? Right now, I think for me it's too premature to speak about marriage, but I've seen that for now everyone is fulfilling their purpose. For now, maybe it's too soon. Yeah, if things change, I'll come back and tell you guys. But for now, it seems everyone is fulfilling their purpose and nobody's forced to do something they don't identify with. Yeah, the one downfall we once had, what was it about? It's something I didn't want to do and I wanted to understand. Yeah, my fiance, I'm not used to this. My fiance says I like asking too many questions, I'm too academic about things, but I really don't like doing things I don't understand. I don't understand the reason, I don't understand how it came about, etc. I struggle. He says you don't have to know and understand everything, which I am sometimes working on, but with some things I'm not willing. So we have those kind of hiccups. And then it says write it all down, then go and scream into a pillow. I guess this is for married people. Go scream into a pillow if you need to. But I did this just to highlight, you know, the type of reflections that happen. So it happens for every chapter. She gives you like a question or two or three that you can reflect on your life, on your relationship, on your finances, you know, on your family, etc. So yeah, that is my book review. How did we get here? The Girl's Guide to Finding Herself by Mpoomy Ledwaba. I really loved reading this book. I would recommend it to young girls who don't have spaces to talk about certain things that are uncomfortable. You know, uncomfortable conversations also need to be had. I really wish the book was longer. When I was at the last chapter, I was like, no, make it stop. Yeah, I think, yeah, every girl, child, woman, and men can read this book. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope I'll be able to read often enough to do these kind of videos and review books. If not, it is what it is. So thank you for watching. Please press like. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Please leave a comment, and if you've read the book, let me know what you enjoyed about it, and if you haven't, let me know what you're looking forward to if you want to buy it. And again, I'm not borrowing my book to anyone. Okay, thank you guys for watching. It's been great. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.